Republicans have been quietly hoping that Donald Trump will magically disappear as he kicks off a 2024 campaign that no one except his hardcore fans seem to want. And now there's a chance Republicans will get their wish as Manhattan prosecutors present evidence to a grand jury considering possible criminal charges against Trump in the Stormy Daniels hush money scandal. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. It's very weird to see Donald Trump just out there campaigning for president as if he didn't orchestrate a coup to overthrow American democracy. It's like a burglar who climbed through a window, set off the alarm, scrambled back out, and said to himself, maybe I'll just go ring the doorbell. They probably won't recognize me if I take the mask off. He's hoping we all just forget about his coup attempt, like when George tried to show up to work on Monday after quitting on Friday. The coup? You guys thought that was serious? You just don't know my sense of humor. And as crazy as it may seem, Trump is already racking up endorsements from Republicans like Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who explained his decision to back Trump this way.
I know the downside of Trump, but let me tell you about the upside of Trump. I am for Trump, not because of the flaws of anybody else. I'm for Donald Trump because I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get with herpes, too, but I'm not sure that's a selling point. Lindsey Graham's like Forrest Gump if all he ever did was sit on that bench. My Mima always said, life is like a box of frozen shrimp. You left out in the sun. You know exactly what you're going to get, food poisoning. With that said, Lindsey isn't all wrong about knowing what you're going to get because Trump is just out there doing his usual shtick, flying from state to state, whining about all the stuff he usually whines about, like windmills.
We demand windmills be built on our oceans, our prairies, our mountains, and our plains, only to realize that they're killing all our eagles and our birds. If you kill a bald eagle, they put you in jail for 5 years. But the windmills knock out thousands of them. Nothing happens. And it's the most expensive and least reliable form of energy on the planet. And the wind turbines are all made in China. Some are made in Germany, but most of them are made in China.
Really trying to recapture that 2016 magic all over again. He's even leaning into the word China, except his voice is so much more degraded now. It used to be up here, China, but now he's down here, China. It's a growl. He sounds like a pit bull who smokes a pack of Marlboros a day. How about this? How about you, Fetch? You like the ball so much, stop chucking it around. Also, I like how he tells everyone in the audience if you kill a bald eagle, you go to jail for 5 years, which definitely means that after this happened, Trump said, I'm gonna kill that bald eagle. And someone told him not to because he'd go to jail for 5 years. But with a few exceptions, Republicans are all dreading another Trump campaign. That's the central problem they're facing right now. They all quietly want Trump gone, but nobody wants to be the one to stop him. It's like when you leave a window open and a bird gets in your house and your whole family's hiding behind the furniture and yelling ideas. Throw a blanket on it. Somebody make cat sounds. Put some bird seed on the windowsill. And then your drunk Aunt Vera just snatches it out of the air and stuffs it through the mail slot without setting down her Michelob. But unfortunately, the Republicans don't have an Aunt Vera to get rid of Trump. So far, the only other Republican who seems to be running for sure is Nikki Haley, Trump's former UN ambassador. But it's hard for me to imagine Haley gaining much traction in a race against Trump, given that she devoted herself fully to the cult of Trumpism and even pledged to support him if he ran again in 2024. And by the way, she said this in 2021 after the January 6th insurrection.
He still has a lot of popularity. If he runs again in 2024, will you support him?
Yes.
If he decides that he's going to run, would that preclude any sort of run that you would possibly make yourself?
I would not run if President Trump ran.
That was in April 2021, 3 months after the insurrection, and she still said she would support him. I mean, what changed? Were the Trump NFTs her breaking point? I will stand by insurrection and election tampering and financial impropriety, but when an adult man sells an NFT of himself as a superhero, I am out. Can you imagine what Trump will say about her if they're ever on a debate stage together? Nikki's very disloyal. She lied and said she wouldn't run against me. That's not nice. Plus, many people are saying she strangled a bald eagle. So Republicans are refusing to confront Trump head-on, instead deciding to hope he magically disappears, just like they did in 2016. One Republican told The Atlantic magazine, it's like 2016 all over again, only more fatalistic. And the writer of that piece told CNN that Republicans want Trump gone, but also have no plan for getting rid of him.
It was striking how consistently I heard the party needs to move on from Trump. We need to find a way to get rid of Trump. We're way better off with Trump. But then when I would ask, okay, what's the plan for that to happen? It would immediately move into hypotheticals. Maybe he'll get indicted and his legal problems will subsume him. Maybe he'll get bored and drop out. Maybe he'll lose his attention. Some people, clung to this long-held delusion that maybe he would become a different person and bow out graciously and make room for the next generation of Republican leaders.
Who are these people still clinging to the fantasy that Trump will bow out graciously? He can't even bow normally. Bow out graciously. When he lost in 2020, he sent an army of oath keepers and werewolves to kill his own vice president. The only reason Mike Pence got away is that he's a fast runner. And just imagine how much faster he'd be if he didn't also clap while he was running. Pence looks like an overeager dad running to the dance floor at a wedding. I was in the bathroom when I heard the DJ introduce the electric slide. Seriously, if you think Donald Trump is going to suddenly change his personality now, at the age of 76, after 8 years in politics and an attempted coup to stay in power, you're crazier than those QAnon people who think JFK Jr. is going to come back from the dead. It's never going to happen. If your personality changes at 76, you don't get credit. You get put in a home. I guess the only path that remains viable for Republicans hoping Trump will magically disappear without having to challenge him directly is an indictment, because Trump is facing a growing number of serious criminal investigations in a bunch of different jurisdictions. There's at least 2 grand juries looking into the coup attempt and the fake electors scheme. The Michigan Attorney General is also looking into the fake electors. A special counsel is investigating Trump's refusal to give back stolen classified documents. And a district attorney in Georgia has said charges could be imminent in the investigation of Trump's phone call trying to tamper with the vote count in the state. And on top of all that, prosecutors in Manhattan are reviving an investigation into Trump's secret hush money payments to cover up his alleged affairs during his first campaign.
A New York prosecutor is making a big move that could mean potential criminal charges for former President Donald Trump, just as he ramps up for his 3rd run for the White House. The New York Times says the Manhattan DA started presenting evidence to a grand jury today about Donald Trump's role in paying hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels during his first presidential campaign. NBC News has confirmed that the grand jury has been convened for this, while former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, who went to federal prison for his role in the hush money payments, is now playing witness in this latest case.
Wait, they're investigating the Stormy Daniels case again? Man, they really are bringing back storylines from 2016. If they arrest Trump, I hope the FBI agent who puts him in cuffs rips off his mask and says, "Hello, Donald, it's me, Jeb." It's too bad you're handcuffed, or I'd tell you to...
Please clap.
Did somebody say, please clap? Well, I think that's the last time we're going to use the clip of Mike Pence running and clapping. Unless, would it be fun to see what it would look like if the tarmac lights were hooked up to a clapper? I think it was a little bit of fun. Now, you might be asking, why are Manhattan prosecutors diving back into the Stormy Daniels case now? Well, for one thing, it was always very weird that the only guy who did any jail time was Trump's ex-fixer, Michael Cohen, even though it was Trump himself who orchestrated the scheme and even signed the check. They literally have his signature on a hush money payment for which one of his underlings went to jail. The only way it could have been more damning is if, in the memo, Trump wrote, "for hush money plus killing that bald eagle." And yet Trump wasn't charged. In fact, it seems like part of the reason prosecutors are reopening the case is that they came very close to charging him the first time. CNN reported the prosecutors had actually weighed whether to bring a case against Trump near the end of his presidency, but decided that the other investigations of Trump were probably more important. Days before Trump left the White House, federal prosecutors in New York discussed whether to potentially charge Trump with campaign finance crimes. Once he was out of office, prosecutors from the Southern District of New York developed significant evidence against Trump, but decided to not seek an indictment of Trump because Trump's other scandals made the campaign finance violations seem somehow trivial and outdated by comparison. So basically, Trump got away with one crime by committing other even worse crimes. It's a classic legal strategy. People don't know this, but the son of Sam only went on that killing spree so he wouldn't go to jail for shoplifting. Shoplifting his dog also told him to do. Take the Twizzlers, but don't pay for them. Seriously, who knew there was this giant loophole in the law where you could get away with one crime by committing an even worse crime? Are there commercials about this that I haven't seen? Are you worried about a parking fine? Are you under investigation for petty theft? Did you get caught shoplifting? Well, then call Myers & Myers right now. We'll help you stay out of jail by doing something way worse. Bank robbery, arson, even murder. We'll help you commit a much more heinous crime, so prosecutors will let you off on your smaller crimes. The only thing we don't do is dog napping. Stop calling us and asking us if we do dog napping. We will not help lure your neighbor's dog into a burlap sack using sausage-flavored treats. Stop asking us to do that. We don't do that. Anyway, if you need help, call now. Myers & Myers personal attorneys. We'll help you beat the rap by doing even worse crap. Except for dog napping. And we also won't
kill a bald eagle.
This has been a closer look